Hi, my name is James Kreitz, and today I'm going to reflect on my experiences in Albania, and more specifically how it impacted and changed my view on faith, culture, and potentially how this may affect my future. Um, so, just for a little bit of background, I'm currently a senior in college, and I recently went on a trip that was partnered with my college, and there was about a group of about 20 to 30 people, and overall, I can say it was a great trip. Initially, I thought that culture was just like something you would go and experience for a week, and then you really wouldn't think about it much after. But if there's one thing that I initially was corrected on, is that culture is much bigger than just a trip or trying out local food or even just being in a place. You have to physically be in it and understand it and live it for a tiny bit, which thankfully I was able to. Um, but starting off, one of the biggest ways this experience impacted me was in how I understand God. Uh, Being in Albania showed me that God is not limited to one place or not even one geographic region, um, or even in one way of life. Instead, God brings Himself and reveals Himself to us in a lot of different ways, especially in Christianity. Um, Even in a country with a very different history and culture, I could still see evidence of faith and resilience and purpose in people's lives. It reminded me that God works through all cultures and circumstances, even in places that have experienced harsh hardship like Albania during communism. During communism, you were not allowed to practice faith at all, and if you were openly Christian, they would either, well, execute you or you'd be in jail for a very long time. And there's many stories I came across where families persevered and kept the faith strong. And there's even many stories of how people came to find Christ after communism fell. So I think that's an important side note for people to understand. Uh, my observations of daily life in Albania both challenged and confirmed some of my assumptions. Before going, I assumed Albania might be less developed or more disconnected, but I found a country that is rapidly growing and adapting. For example, in conversations with locals, I had conversations with a couple of locals. One was a souvenir shop owner. His name was Celeste. I was able to learn how tourism is transforming the economy while also creating challenges and preserving cultural identity. This showed me that Albania is balancing tradition and modernization in a complex way, meaning that they're trying to make Albania an open country so more people can come and visit the nation. Tourism is a very big part of their economy, and but they also want to preserve the culture, meaning that they want Albania to stay Albania. They don't want it to become like an international kind of place per se. Meaning they just want to keep certain things about their culture in their culture, which is very common all throughout different parts of the world. But furthermore, interacting with people in Albania made me reflect on my own cultural values and privileges. I realized how much I take for granted, especially freedoms like open expression and access to opportunities. Hearing stories about life during communism and the limitations people faced made me more aware of how fortunate I am and challenged me to think more critically about how I use those privileges. There were also both similarities and differences between Albania and my home country. I noticed that community life in Albania was very strong, but more specifically, how people value relationships and personal connections deeply. At the same time, there are differences in economic structure and development. For example, small family owned businesses are more common and there is a strong emphasis on preserving tradition. These comparisons help me see that while cultures may differ, many core values like family and community are shared. I'm from the southern part of the United States, and community and family is also important here. Um, Not as strongly attributed as they had it in Albania, however. Um, One moment that stood out to me was hearing about life during communism and the challenges people faced. It was both surprising and a little uncomfortable to realize how restricted life once was, but it also inspired me because of how people endured and adapted. The moment taught me to appreciate different perspectives and to better understand how history shapes the present. Looking Looking forward, this experience will influence my future in several ways. Personally, I want to be more open minded and intentional about learning from other cultures. Academically and professionally, it has made me more interested in how business, culture, and ethics intersect, especially in global contexts. It also reinforced the importance of integrity and responsibility in any career path, um, meaning that you need to have a solid understanding of someone's different culture and where they come from. That can help in business situations and many other career paths that one may choose to go on. Um, if I were to give advice to someone considering the Albania Global Perspectives trip, I would say go with an Go with an open mind and be ready to listen. The most valuable part of the experience is not just what you see, but the conversations you have and the perspectives you gain. Be willing to step outside your comfort zone, because that's where the most growth happens. Overall, this trip was more than just travel. It was an experience that challenged my thinking, strengthened my faith, and gave me a deeper understanding of the world around me. And I think that's a healthy thing that every young person should try to do. Travel outside the nation if you get the chance. It'll change your perspective. It's like we have it good here in the states, and it's very different overseas. Definitely opens your eyes to certain things. Anyways, thank you for watching.